Dr. Jonathan Asantiotre is a political analyst and senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. Doc, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time tonight on 505.
Good evening, Bantina.
So this back and forth and chaos, where is it taking us to?
Nowhere. Let me say good evening to your listener. It is taking us to nowhere. You see, it is often said in the local parts that if you have your finger in the mouth of someone, you don't hit the head because definitely your finger.
Doc, can you please speak up for me? I can hardly hear you, sir.
Yeah, my position is that, can you hear me better?
Yeah, it's far better. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm saying that he who has his fingers in the mouth of anyone does not hit the top of the head. As it is said in local parlance. We are going nowhere. Having a presser does not lead us to anywhere. The point is that in the first place, the MPP got it all wrong, making Afenyo Markin as a majority leader. They got it all wrong.
Oh, how?
If it is because Osemen Sabonsu, reportedly supported the call for the resignation of the sacking of the former finance minister, for which reason you asked him to step out. This is where you find yourself. The man lacks emotional maturity. Look, you have listened to the speaker. Whatever he said yesterday, he stopped short at saying that the MPP caucus is the majority, the NDC caucus is the majority, and vice versa. He stopped short at doing so. So as the leader of your caucus, what do you think is the best way to solve this issue? Let me point out clearly that, you see, whenever you have a stalemate, a political stalemate, and you go to the Supreme Court or any of the court to solve that issue, you will never solve it. Especially a political issue at the highest level. The highest echelon of our democracy is Parliament. Not the judiciary, not the executive. Because those who have that constant contact with any of the three is the judiciary. Is the legislature. That's the more reason why they say that they are the representative of the people. Now, having gone to the Supreme Court and secured an ex parte motion, judgment on your behalf that, this should stay execution, what has happened? Probably he thought a little less of the Speaker of Parliament, that is a person who is a coward that is going to chicken out. This is what you find yourself in. Solve that problem. The Parliament has been adjourned once again, and to call it back will take another 2 weeks. Who suffers? If the country is in its doldrums, it's on its knees, what people will say is that it is you who find yourself in government that ought to solve our problems. If you cannot solve our problems, then you don't deserve to be in power. That is what people will say. That is what people will say. Those tantrums and other things. I had a problem with Afenyo Markin because I was asking myself, how are you going to relate to the speaker when you get to the plenary? Is it just going to be because you are the majority or minority leader? No. The kinds of things that you said about the man, they are things that are unprintable. Therefore, I was thinking that, look, now how do you go about solving this problem? Listen to KT Hammond. The last of KT Hammond will not in any way solve any problem for you. It will not in any way solve any problem for you. At the end of the day, people will call your majority leadership into question. Have you really done what is needful? If you did so, how come they were not able to pass all the tax waivers? How come they were not able to pass those bills at the right or opportune time? Very soon, the MPs will only be thinking of their survival. Yes, the mother party is the MPP. But they'll be thinking of their survival.
In fact,
how do I remain in
they're
parliament?
already thinking about their survival because they say they have to go campaigning. It's just exactly a month to the December 7 elections.
So I'm happy you have seconded the issue that I was talking about. When it comes to the MPship, yes, you're on the ticket of the MPP. You're on the ticket of the NDC. But it is about your survival. Because if you are going to get whether as graduate or whatever and continue to get that, because the law has not changed, you have to be in parliament. And here is the case, probably, if some of these bills had been passed in the interest of the government, in the interest of the nation, in the interest of the opposition itself, probably would have benefited from that. Here is the case, you don't have any such benefit. Is it not annoying and strange that the very caucus that called for resumption of parliament was not in parliament? Why? Because your colleagues who are your friends, say that they are going to be on the majority side, and that is the more reason why you're not going to go to parliament. So next time when you call for an emergency sitting or whatever, do you think that the speaker is going to hearken to that?
Yeah,
on what basis?
The speaker has no choice, but because of the law, he has to just follow the process.
Certainly, but it will still affect the process and what government intends to do. Because time is of the essence, and it is no one's friend.
Afenyo Markin says they are going to engage the speaker and expect the speaker to do the needful because, again, there's a Supreme Court ruling. So if the speaker says he's going to protect the Constitution, the Supreme Court has given a ruling. Until the final determination of the case, stay your execution, the execution of your ruling, or what you say, your opinion. Just tell the NDC members to sit where they are, because according to Afenyo Markin, again, the clerk of parliament indeed arranged the sitting as the NPP majority, but the NDC went in and changed the sitting position.
You see, my dear Valentina, what is ambiguous about 97 H and J? What is so ambiguous for which you are seeking interpretation? And we know the style of the court system. Look, the court will say stay execution until the final determination of the case. You don't have control over the final determination of the case. You don't have control. We know what they did with Dom Level. We know what they have done with the LGBTQ. And we know what they have done with the ex parte motion that Afenyo Markin filed.
That was expedited. That was expedited. So this one might be expedited.
Yes, we are all aware of that. So that inconsistency on the part of the Supreme Court is the more reason why anybody, commonsensically, would defy the Supreme Court, especially when they also quote the relevant portions of the law. I've asked myself, you say supremacy of Constitution. Okay, so does that mean that when the Supreme Court interprets something, is the Supreme Court that is supposed to implement that which they have interpreted? Or supposed to be another arm of government that's supposed to do so? The constitutional crisis is created by the Supreme Court because they are always willing to pander to the whims and caprice of the executive.
But the speaker says there's no constitutional crisis. Parliament is working.
Of course, there's no constitutional crisis because he called Parliament. And you don't have what it takes to do business. He calls it sine die. Why the people who called for that to happen were not in Parliament? Because you are thinking that your colleagues have gone to sit at the majority section, and you are expecting the Speaker to come out with that ruling. I am of the view that, look, for the Chief Justice to tell Ghanaians that Justice Gau cannot excuse or recuse himself just because he was one time a contestant of the ticket of the MPP 2016. There's no conflict of interest. I am suggesting to you that if there is a change of government, she will be removed. There was a change of government in 2008. Professor Mills and Mr. Muhammad never called for Georgina Woods to be removed. There will be a petition against her. Because for me, she appears to me more as a politician than a Supreme Court judge or the Chief Justice. Because if he can convince me that her husband can be in the same court in which their son or daughter stand accused, then where is your value? The point is that it's not as if Gawu does not have what it takes to do justice. The point is that he is politically exposed, and whether he rules for or against, people will have a query of that. Remove him. It's not as if you don't have any other justice to sit on that particular issue. You have some. Out of 15, you have 13 appointed by the president. Go ahead and pick any of them. Not those who were appointed about 3 months ago. Now you have 2 more outstanding Supreme Court justices who ought to be vetted and be approved.
They've been vetted, actually. It's the approval that is pending.
Okay. So, have you forgotten about that?
And that can be done.
That can be done. That can be done. I always say that when a party in government says that we are going to give you employment, let them organize an interview in which you have a panel sitting and they will be asking you questions and the minutes accordingly will be taken. And that will be in the records of the company or the unit or the state institution. That is the only way any government comes to power. You will not be asked to leave the place because you will have gone through the mill. So, if you don't get this thing done and cleared with along the line, if there is a change in government, it is going to affect you. Especially when you look at all the indicators showing that there's likelihood of a change in government. Do the right thing.
So now, what is more critical is the salaries of public sector workers, those in security services and all that, because Parliament has to pass a 3-month expenditure on account for the salaries of these people and other essential statutory payments. It's been adjourned indefinitely. We don't know when they're coming because there's election on the 7th of December. This has to be approved by this Parliament so that the next government will present a budget and then we know the way forward. That is pending alongside several other things now. What do you suggest should be the solution to this impasse or deadlock that we find ourselves in? Who should lead the mediation talk?
He who has his hands in the mouth of another should not hit the top of his head because your fingers will be bitten. I expect Afenyo Markins, probably the powers that be, who are far above the pay grade of Afenyo Markins, to ask the Speaker and the other side of the House to come to a compromise, negotiate, and build a consensus. That which Afenyo Markins said in his acceptance speech is not what he's doing. Organizing presser will not solve anything. It will not solve anything. And if people don't get paid, whom do you think they are going to accost? The opposition, they will accost government.
He said
when they create chaos, it is the business of government because you have been given the mandate of the people to protect, and according to the oath that the president took, you are supposed to do so. So if you can sit idle for the opposition to unsettle you, then you have no business being in government.
Wow.
What does it matter if you are in the minority or in the majority? What does it matter? Because if it is the NDC that is the majority, they cannot lead government business. It will have to take the party that holds the executive to lead government business. And Valentina, finally, let me say it. Look, looking at the issues, 17 of them that have been tabled, upon which, an emergency, whatever was called on by the Speaker to reconvene. when it comes to any voting, NPP will lose by this posture.
Why?
Cynthia Morrissey will not vote for them.
Are you sure? Because today she was part of the press conference and she said she's a member of the majority.
It is just a convenient political posture.
Okay.
If it is a matter of voting in secrecy, of which the other side will insist, based upon the importance of that particular bill, they will lose. What about Koja Asante? So if it comes to a CMA, yes, you can be rest assured that CMA will vote for the NPP. But the other two, you can never tell. The NDC person who has gone independent, equally, you can never say. He himself said that he is ready to do the bidding of the NDC. Certainly because the NDC has not been able to clear Joanna's issue with the Electoral Commission.
Yes.
Once that happens, he knows that he doesn't have what it takes to win that particular seat. Yes. So for now, he will want to play it safe. And that's the more reason why the NDC is equally playing it safe. So the point is that at this point in time, for me, it will have to take some compromises, speak with the elderly. The Council of State waded into this matter. I felt that that was the best way to go, no two ways about that. But if it is a way of weakening the legislature of the three arms of government, the very person who is the Speaker of Parliament has made it point clearly that that is something that you not accept. Period.
We'll see what happens in the days to come. Doc, very grateful that you joined us. Dr. Jonathan Asante-Okyere. He was talking about the things that have been tabled before Parliament. Let's listen to Afenyo Markin accuse the NDC of stalling government business, and then we'll come back to Havela Kekeli in Parliament, who's joining me in studio, to tell us exactly whether or not these have been tabled for Parliament to consider.
Right now, what the NDC has done, basically, are the following. One, they don't want Ghanaians to receive their pay, public servants, because they know that after the elections, there will be no budget. And to be able to pay Ghanaian workers, there will be the need for parliamentary approval of appropriation on account. That is a constitutional requirement. They want to stampede it. Two, they want to again create a certain impression that Ghana is lawless. Ghana is not lawless. We will not allow them to give a wrong impression to the international community. Three, you know, their fear is that under the 1D, 1F, these companies are going to create jobs. These companies will employ people. So their fear is that should these be addressed, it will mean that all their propaganda of unemployment would fall flat. So further to frustrate businessmen and drive them away. Are these Democrats? No. We have the free SHS bill, which is before Parliament. Their main aim is to conspire with Mr. Speaker to prevent the free SHS bill from being passed. And in an unlikely situation where they see the light of day in the election, cancel it. That, oh, after all, there's no law backing it. This morning, we pre-inspected the chamber. The clerk diligently arranged our name tags at where they were. They came in there and unlawfully removed our name tags, pulled their chairs to our place and sat on our seats. And Speaker, the cameras, I was watching in my office. If a Supreme Court ruling is being respected by them, why did they move to the right of Mr. Speaker? Now, we look forward to engaging Mr. Speaker in the next few hours and days. We pray that he does the needful. If he doesn't do the needful, we will continue to rely on the law to get the right things done. The partisan politics that they are festing on us in the chamber must cease, must end. Parliament is a chamber for decent people. Parliament is a chamber for tolerant Democrats. Parliament is a chamber for people who want nation building. without taking advantage of situations to score cheap political points. And let us also pray that civil society and Ghanaians in general will prevail upon the NDC lawless minority to know that decency is a rule of the game. It's not a member of parliament.
So that's a member of parliament for F00l, leader of the NPP caucus in parliament, Alexander Kwamina Afenyo Markin. Have like a Kelly, the member of parliament for F00l talked about certain bills that are before parliament. He's talking about the bill on appropriation that is supposed to be passed for public sector workers to be paid. He's also talking about the free SHS bill. He says that Speaker adjourning the House indefinitely means that the NDC members are sabotaging this. Per the reason for the recall, do we have all these bills?
In fact, per these reasons, the free SHS bill is not in the list. In fact,
so
what we currently have is request for tax exemption for designated beneficiaries under the One District One Factory program.
That's the tax waivers.
Yes. Then we have the Ghana Financial Stability Fund, an International Development Association facility of 200 years. Then we have the bills, and under the bills we have Environmental Protection Agency Bill 2024, Social Protection Bill 2023, Customs Amendment Bill 2024, Budget Bill 2023, Ghana Boundary Commission Bill 2023, Interstate Succession Bill 2022, and I also have a document here which is the,
and that's part of some of the things they wanted this emergency recall of parliament to deal with.
Exactly. The priority business of this very parliament, that's this very sitting, and if you go through one after the other, let me check the bills here. The bills here is University of Sports and Development Bill 2024, Energy Commission Amendment Bill 2023. Those ones have been withdrawn, if you recall. And then Ghana Investment Promotion Center Amendment Bill, Customs Amendment Bill, Ghana Deposit Protection Amendment Bill. And when it comes to instruments, we have Prison Service Parl Regulations Bill.
Okay, the one that they said that they want to amend it so that it's not every offense that you have to go to prison.
Exactly.
Sometimes you do communal labor.
Yes.
Okay.
We have fees and charges, miscellaneous provisions amendment regulation 2024.
Because some government agencies want certain fees increased.
And then Energy Commission, that's planning and competitive procurement, and that one has been withdrawn.
Yes.
And then Petroleum Downstream, Ghana Content and Ghana Participation Regulation 2024, fees and charges, miscellaneous provisions amendment. So these are the priority
bills.
of bills.
That was supposed to be done within this parliament sitting before it's dissolved on the midnight of the 6th of
Definitely.
January.
And that does not include the free SHS bill. So I was personally surprised he mentioned that again. When he met us the first day of sitting, when he brought it up, I went through, there was nothing like that. So I thought maybe subsequently
they'll bring it.
You remember last sitting, he did mention free SHS bill till we went on recess. Nothing was brought before parliament. And this time around he's mentioning, but then even the priority business is not
part of it. Okay, Havela, grateful that